Well, thanks to the lame-ass security, I'm going home. We're out of here.
I think the only thing that we have in common with Kiss now is that, they like to make money and they like girls, but...
There is a saying that always reminds us that every action has a consequence attached to it, and it seems like the later outcome of Axl Rose Party Days couldn't wait any longer before it started showing its effects on him. Join us as we explore the 15 craziest stories about Axl Rose Party Days. Axl Rose often postponed the commencement of Guns N' Roses performances with absurd justifications. Thus, when he made a specific food request mere minutes before he was scheduled to take the stage in front of an audience of 80,000 in Buenos Aires in July 1993, his assistant, Craig Duswalt, experienced a surge of panic, albeit not without a sense of foreboding. The other band members were already present at the venue, while Rose remained at his hotel, yearning for chili and cheese, a dish not available on the room service menu. Understanding that the concert would be indefinitely delayed if Rose's desires were not met, Duswalt endeavored to communicate Axl's request to the hotel kitchen staff as clearly as possible. An hour later, a platter arrived at the hotel room, featuring a block of cheese accompanied by a few chili peppers. In a moment of desperation, feeling overwhelmed and cornered, Duswalt made a split-second decision to hurl the dish against the wall in a last-ditch effort to divert Rose's attention away from the situation at hand. The sound of shattering porcelain echoed through the room, creating a dramatic and chaotic distraction. In the heat of the moment, Duswalt quickly blamed the mishap on the hotel's supposed incompetence, hoping to shift the focus away from the real reason for the tension. As the broken pieces of the dish lay scattered on the floor, Rose's initial craving for the food was completely forgotten, overshadowed by the sudden chaos and confusion. The tension in the air dissipated slightly, allowing the performance to continue as planned, albeit with a lingering sense of unease and tension in the room. Despite the temporary diversion and successful execution of the performance, the guilt and anxiety of Duswalt's impulsive actions lingered, casting a shadow over the rest of the evening. Now, fasten your belt because we're about to dive deeper into the most intriguing stories about Axl. Check out the next number. Guns N' Roses was supposed to sign with Geffen Records in July 1986. The label propelled the band to fame with the release of their debut album, Appetite for Destruction, in 1987. However, the signing nearly fell through due to Axl Rose's erratic behavior. On the morning of the crucial meeting, Rose could not locate his contact lenses and became convinced that they had been stolen. In a fit of frustration, Axl refused to participate in the meeting and left in a huff, while the other band members desperately searched for the lost lenses. Manager Vicky Hamilton noted that Axl was busy thinking of that someone had taken his contact lenses, so he won't be able to read the contract. Eventually, Slash found the lenses, which were fortuitously tucked away in a pair of Rose's pants, and subsequently located the singer, who was hiding on the roof of the Whiskey A Go-Go. Although the band arrived approximately 4 hours late to the meeting, some record executives remained present, awaiting their arrival. At the age of 44, Axl Rose, the iconic frontman of Guns N' Roses, continued to embody the wild and reckless persona that had defined much of his career. His reputation for erratic behavior was further heightened during a chaotic tour in Sweden in 2006, where an incident unfolded that would capture the attention of both fans and media alike. While staying at a hotel, Rose found himself embroiled in a heated dispute with a woman in the lobby. The situation escalated quickly, drawing the attention of a security guard who intervened in an attempt to mediate the conflict. However, what transpired next was both shocking and bizarre. In a moment of impulsive aggression, Rose reportedly bit the security guard on the leg. This unexpected confrontation not only highlighted Rose's unpredictable nature, but also underscored the challenges of managing a rock star with a notorious reputation. As law enforcement arrived on the scene, they were met with a chaotic situation. Rose displayed clear signs of intoxication, his behavior oscillating between aggression and erratic outbursts. The officers quickly determined that his state necessitated physical restraint to ensure the safety of everyone involved. Consequently, He was taken into custody and spent the night in a holding cell, as authorities deemed him too inebriated to undergo a proper interrogation. The following day, after a night of reflection and sobering up, Rose faced the consequences of his actions. He admitted guilt regarding the incident, acknowledging the severity of his behavior. As a result, he was fined $5,500, a financial penalty that served as a stark reminder of the repercussions of his reckless lifestyle. Additionally, he was ordered to compensate the security guard with an extra payment of $1,360, further emphasizing the impact of his actions on others. On August 8, 1992, a series of unfortunate events unfolded when two of the most prominent heavy metal bands, Metallica and Guns N' Roses, performed in Montreal. During Metallica's performance, lead vocalist James Hetfield suffered severe burns due to a pyrotechnic mishap, which abruptly ended their set. As Hetfield was transported to the hospital, concert promoters faced significant challenges in getting Guns N' Roses on stage, a process that took an extensive 2 hours and 15 minutes. Ultimately, Guns N' Roses managed to perform only 9 songs that evening, a stark contrast to their typical set list of nearly 20 songs during the tour. The band's performance was notably disjointed from the outset. Axl Rose encountered difficulties with the monitor speakers, and rather than seeking assistance to resolve the issue, he chose to destroy his microphone, sit on the monitors, and subsequently exited the stage, never to return. This uncultured performance may have stemmed from Rose's belief in a bad juju that he felt affected the band in cities starting with the letter M. The audience reacted violently upon realizing that Guns N' Roses would not return, leading to riots that included the burning of merchandise, overturned police vehicles, and looting of the stadium's souvenir shop. Meanwhile, backstage, Axl Rose was seen celebrating with groupies while his management engaged in disputes with concert promoters, and the remaining band members indulged in festivities reminiscent of a bygone era. This is getting more interesting than you can imagine, so don't go anywhere because there's more to spill. On July 2, 1991, Guns N' Roses took the stage at the Riverport Amphitheater, located near St. Louis. During the performance of Rocket Queen, Axl Rose noticed an audience member capturing photographs and requested that security confiscate the camera. When this request was refused, Axl impulsively jumped into the crowd, seized the camera, and confronted both the fan and several security personnel. Upon returning to the stage, he sabotaged the security before discarding the microphone and exiting the venue in a fit of anger. The remaining band members followed suit, prompting a chaotic response from the audience, who rushed the stage, vandalized the band's equipment, and dismantled barriers and video screens. As a result of these events, Rose faced charges for inciting a riot. However, law enforcement was unable to apprehend him until nearly a year later. The Concorde was a remarkable feat of engineering and design, representing the pinnacle of aviation technology during its operational years. This supersonic aircraft, developed through a collaboration between British and French aerospace engineers, was capable of flying at speeds exceeding twice the speed of sound. This extraordinary capability allowed it to significantly reduce travel times across the Atlantic, making what once took hours into a matter of minutes. For instance, a flight from New York to London that typically took around 8 hours could be completed in just under 4 hours on the Concorde. The aircraft was in commercial operation from 1976 until its retirement in 2003, serving primarily business travelers and the wealthy elite who could afford its high ticket prices. The cost of a ticket on the Concorde was notably expensive, often ranging from $5,000 to $10,000 for a one-way trip, reflecting the exclusivity and luxury associated with flying on this iconic aircraft. In the summer of 1992, during a tour in France, a notable incident involving the Concorde occurred when Rose, a well-known figure, decided to purchase a unique birthday gift for his girlfriend, the famous model and actress Stephanie Seymour. He chose a stuffed elephant, a whimsical and thoughtful present that he hoped would delight her. Understanding the importance of ensuring that the gift arrived safely and promptly in New York City, Rose went to great lengths to secure its transportation. He arranged for a seat on a Concorde flight specifically for the stuffed elephant, a decision that came with a staggering cost of $10,000. a roadie known as Big Ron gained a measure of notoriety when he assumed lead vocal duties for Guns N' Roses at the Omni Coliseum in Atlanta on 20. During the performance, Axl Rose unexpectedly leaped into the audience and struck several police officers, resulting in his arrest. The head of security recounted the events, stating how he hit an Atlanta police officer at first. Then, he hit a female Atlanta police officer, and finally, a black female Atlanta police officer. So, he was meant to go to jail. Fortunately, the concert promoter acted swiftly and decisively in the face of a potentially disastrous situation. With quick thinking and effective communication, they were able to persuade security to release Axl, with the condition that he issue an apology. Axl, recognizing the seriousness of the situation, initially complied by signing a written apology. However, his compliance was short-lived as he suddenly changed his mind and began to use demeaning language towards one of the officers involved. This sudden reversal of behavior only served to escalate the tension and ultimately led to the concert being abruptly terminated. It became clear that Axl's actions had crossed a line and that he would be taken into custody, bringing a premature end to what was supposed to be a night of music and celebration. Adriana Smith, a 19-year-old exotic dancer with a deep passion for the rock band Guns N' Roses, found herself entwined in the chaotic world of rock and roll during the late 1980s. Her connection to the band was not just as a fan. She was romantically involved with the band's drummer, Steven Adler, in 1987. This relationship placed her at the heart of the band's early narrative, and her presence was immortalized on their groundbreaking debut album, Appetite for Destruction. However, the romance between Smith and Adler was not without its complications. Adler's infidelity with another woman shattered the trust in their relationship, prompting Smith to seek a form of retribution. In a twist of fate, she turned her attention to Axl Rose, the charismatic and often unpredictable frontman of Guns N' Roses. Their brief liaison unfolded during a visit to the band while they were recording in New York City, a time when the band was on the cusp of superstardom. During this visit, Axl proposed an unconventional idea: to engage in intimate relations within the vocal booth of the recording studio. His intention was to capture the raw, unfiltered essence of their encounter and incorporate it into the song Rocket Queen, a track known for its emotional depth and complexity. Initially hesitant about the idea, Smith found herself swayed by the allure of the moment, especially after Axl introduced a bottle of Jack Daniels, which helped to lower her inhibitions and ultimately led her to consent to the proposal. The aftermath of this encounter was complex. Sources close to Guns N' Roses revealed that Adler's reaction to Smith's actions was surprisingly composed. Rather than expressing anger or jealousy, he viewed the situation through a more pragmatic lens, recognizing that Smith's liaison with Axl could potentially enhance the band's dynamic. Adler's laid-back response reflected the often chaotic and unpredictable nature of life within the rock scene, where personal relationships frequently intertwined with professional endeavors. As the story of Adriana Smith, Steven Adler, and Axl Rose unfolded, it became emblematic of the wild, passionate, and sometimes reckless lifestyle that defined the era of rock and roll in the late 1980s. What do you think the next number will be about? Keep watching to know if you guessed right. It is not uncommon for band members to encounter disagreements or conflicts with the stage crew during live performances. However, it is quite an extraordinary occurrence for a lead singer to abandon the stage mid-performance to confront the crew directly. This rare situation can lead to an awkward moment where the remaining band members are left to finish a song without the vocal accompaniment that is typically central to their sound. Most vocalists tend to maintain a level of professionalism and composure in such situations, but Axl Rose is not like most singers. During a notable festival performance by Guns N' Roses in 2006, the band was in the midst of performing You Could Be Mine, a high-energy track that gained fame as part of the Terminator 2 soundtrack. In the heat of the moment, Rose's frustration with the crew boiled over, prompting him to stop singing and step off stage to address the issues he was facing with them. As he did this, the rest of the band continued to play, determined to deliver a strong finish to the song despite the unexpected disruption. Rose, however, did not hold back his sarcasm, using the microphone to criticize a crew member, implying that they were not putting in the necessary effort. and were perhaps neglecting their responsibilities. When Axl eventually returned to the stage, he made no attempt to seamlessly rejoin his bandmates in the performance. Instead, he chose to further air his grievances, using the microphone as a platform to publicly chastise the crew. He questioned their competence and insinuated that their lack of focus might be due to substance use, specifically Quaaludes, a substance known for its sedative effects. This outburst not only highlighted Rose's volatile temperament, but also created a tense atmosphere that overshadowed the performance, leaving both the band and the audience in a state of disbelief at the unfolding drama. Axl Rose, in contrast to many prominent hard rock bands of the 1980s known for their flamboyant hairstyles, expressed a genuine admiration for Nirvana, particularly their groundbreaking Neunrine album, Nevermind. He extended an invitation to Kurt Cobain and his band to perform at his birthday celebration and to join Guns N' Roses and Metallica on a global tour. However, Cobain declined the offer, rejecting what he perceived as corporate rock. The rivalry between the two bands reached a boiling point during the 1992 MTV Video Music Awards. When Courtney Love, Cobain's spouse, encountered Axl backstage, she mockingly suggested that he become the godfather of their child. Angered by this, Axl retorted to Cobain, and after their little exchange of words, Axl then stormed off in frustration. Subsequently, tensions escalated as Guns N' Roses bassist Duff McKagan shoved Nirvana's Chris Novoselic, while Dave Grohl mocked Rose from the stage. Some members of Guns N' Roses attempted to tip over Nirvana's trailer, where Cobain's daughter was sleeping, and Cobain left a few spitballs on what he mistakenly believed to be Rose's keyboard, which turned out to belong to Elton John. As individuals progress through life, it is common for them to experience weight gain, leading to a choice between acceptance and engaging in physical activities such as jogging. In a related matter, Axl Rose has initiated legal proceedings following the emergence of disparaging images of him that have been transformed into Fat Axl memes. In response, Rose submitted a request under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act to Google, seeking the removal of these images. Axl asserts that the photographs in question are his intellectual property, while the photographer contends that they are his own and were unlawfully taken from a press website. Regardless of the ownership dispute, the memes remain prevalent on the internet, likely to persist indefinitely. Some of the captions associated with these memes include, "Take me down to the bakery city," and "Sweet pie oh mine." Can you guess the last number? It's actually something you never expected. In 1998, a notable incident involving Axl Rose unfolded at Sky Harbor International Airport in Phoenix, Arizona. The situation arose when Rose attempted to navigate the airport security process, a routine procedure that quickly turned contentious. As he approached the security checkpoint, he became increasingly agitated when security personnel requested to inspect his luggage. This request, which is standard protocol for all travelers, seemed to trigger a strong reaction from the rock star. In a moment of frustration, Rose's demeanor escalated into a heated confrontation. Witnesses reported that he raised his voice and began to spill derogatory words. His outburst not only drew attention from those nearby, but also highlighted the tension that can arise in high-pressure situations, especially for someone accustomed to the spotlight and the privileges that often accompany fame. The altercation did not end there. It resulted in law enforcement getting involved. Rose was taken into custody, a significant turn of events for a musician known for his rebellious image. He spent several hours in jail, a stark contrast to the glamorous life he typically led on stage. Eventually, he was able to post bail and secure his release, but the incident left a mark on his public persona. In the aftermath, Bryn Bridenthal, who served as the publicist for Guns N' Roses at Geffen Records, stepped in to manage the narrative surrounding the incident. She sought to mitigate the fallout by framing the altercation as a misunderstanding rather than a serious confrontation. Bridenthal explained that Rose's agitation stemmed from the presence of personal items in his bag, specifically mentioning that he had received some birthday presents. including a delicate glass object from a friend. She emphasized that Rose was genuinely concerned about the potential damage to these items during the security inspection, suggesting that his reaction was more about protecting his belongings than an outright defiance of authority. This incident at the airport not only showcased the challenges that celebrities can face in everyday situations, but also served as a reminder of the pressures and expectations that come with fame. Shortly prior to a performance in Philadelphia in 1988, Axl Rose, along with his younger brother and personal assistant Stuart, engaged in a confrontation with a parking attendant at the venue. True to Rose's characteristic demeanor, he expressed his frustrations regarding the incident during the concert, eliciting enthusiastic cheers from the audience in response to his vivid tirade. The altercation escalated into a physical scuffle, prompting the involvement of law enforcement. Although Rose was briefly detained, Doug Goldstein, the band's tour manager, successfully persuaded the authorities to release him before the commencement of the show. From the stage, Rose voiced his indignation, not primarily over the physical altercation, but rather due to feeling unfairly judged as a dubious individual based solely on his long hair. Now, we have the last on this list. In 1985, the formation of Guns N' Roses marked a significant moment in the music scene of Los Angeles. The band, comprised of a group of talented yet chaotic musicians, found their initial home with their first manager, Vicki Hamilton. She graciously opened the doors of her modest one-bedroom apartment, located at 1114 North Clark Saint, which was conveniently situated just a stone's throw away from the iconic Whiskey A Go-Go on the Sunset Strip, a legendary venue that would soon become synonymous with the band's rise to fame. Hamilton's apartment quickly transformed into a vibrant hub of activity, where the energy of youth and rebellion permeated the air. The small space was often filled with the sounds of laughter, loud music, and the clinking of beer bottles, as the band and their friends gathered for raucous parties. Despite Hamilton's firm stance against substance use within her home, the rooftop became a secretive escape for many, where the revelry continued with excessive drinking and clandestine substance use, creating an atmosphere that was both exhilarating and chaotic. One particular evening, amidst the revelry, drummer Steven Adler found himself tasked with the unenviable job of cleaning up the aftermath of one of these wild gatherings. As he bent down to pick up the countless beer bottles littering the floor, he noticed Axl Rose sprawled out on the couch, seemingly oblivious to the chaos around him. However, the noise and commotion of the cleanup soon reached Rose's ears, and his irritation boiled over. In a fit of frustration, he hurled a wooden coffee table across the room at Adler, a moment that encapsulated the volatile dynamics within the band. Vicki Hamilton, who witnessed this and many other similar incidents, later reflected on Axl's unpredictable nature, confirming he possessed two markedly different personas. One is a gentle individual, while the other resembles a ferocious beast. You can discern his state of mind simply by observing his eyes. This duality in Axl's character not only defined his interactions with those around him, but also foreshadowed the challenging journey that lay ahead for Guns N' Roses as they navigated the highs and lows of fame, creativity, and personal struggles. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.